Hello, and welcome to the Midgard Press. My name's Jay. So we've covered Outskirt a couple times, and two things. One, I've got the map to the left, and this will help situate as we talk about the locations. We're actually going to break the locations down into two different episodes. We're going to cover 1, 2, all the way up to, yes, covering 1 through 5. And then next episode, we're going 6 through 10. So, yeah, the very first thing that you'll notice, because like I said, I have the map up here to the left. It's not that large of a town. We've talked about this. There's roughly a couple hundred residents. There's 50 or so newly built timber houses. And there's a couple things that is around. It's built around the ruined temple, but we'll get to the ruined temple later. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the palisade. The crude palisade of sharpened log wood or winds its way around the settlement. It is not very high, maybe the height of 1.5 men. Several large gaps can be seen between the logs. So it's more or less just built to keep the big stuff out. Little stuff can still get in, but the big stuff will be kept out. So there's guards. The palisade area is patrolled around the clock by 3 villagers, in addition to the guard captain at the south gate 2A. One of them is always manning one of the towers at the north gate 2B, or not 2B. That is the question. So 2A down here, we got towards the southeast, and then you got 2B towards the north. It's your only 2 ways in and out of the village of Outskirt, which if you are running the campaign, they should, in the very beginning, be coming through the opening scene through the Coomer Mountains. And if they are, then they will be going through 2A. So random event number 1 and number 5 can occur here. Now, do y'all remember what the random events are? No? Okay, let's go back. So that's the demonic bat or the dead messenger. So you got either bats flying or you got dead bats on the ground. 2A, South Gate. So again, this is the gate that you'd be coming through if you're actually portraying the actual campaign going through the opening scene. Now, in all honesty, even if you run the opening scene for your players and your players decide, you know what, let's skip Outskirt, we're going to do a couple other things, they could honestly come through 2B later on, but typically they'll come through 2A. So it says South Gate, a low double-gated entrance is flanked by 2 round towers of stone. There is a paved road leading south. And then it tells you have armed villagers. So it did say that there was, 3 villagers and 1 town guard. So the armed villagers, they are the village guard following a rotating schedule organized by Wagenheld. All villagers participate in the defense plan. So they have movement of 10, no damage bonus. They have an armor of leather 1, HP is 11, skills, evade 8, awareness 8. All the others should be about 5. That's the typical default for NPCs. And then the typical weapon, short spear, skill level 10, damage D10. So we have Captain Hardy. The captain of the guard resides in 1 tower. The other is being used as a briefing room and gathering place for guard patrols. Hardy can usually be found in one of the 2 towers. Random event 1 and 5 can occur here. So again, you're going to have either demonic bat or dead messenger. So it's either a bat flying or a bat dead, one or the other. Hardy is a battle-hardened war veteran in his 40s with shoulder-length hair and a broken nose. He is the strong, silent type, but does not have a sentimental side that tends to come out after a few mugs of mead at the end. Sometimes Hardy heads out into the wilds to drive off goblins, bandits, and other potential troublemakers. During these expeditions, he is often accompanied by Jory, a son of Master Olvar, who runs the village shop number 5, which we'll get to this episode, whom Hardy regards as his future successor. So if at some point Hardy dies in one of your sessions for your campaign, just know that Jory is going to take over. Episode brought to you by Pepsi. So Hardy has a movement of 12, a damage bonus of it's a strength plus D4. Armor is studded leather and an open helmet, so he has 3. 16 HP, 14 willpower. Now, anytime they are listed with willpower, that means they're automatically going to have some kind of heroic abilities. And that means they are of a boss caliber or mini boss level. You know, if you just have your regular typical NPCs, then they're not going to have any heroic abilities. It's only going to be your mini boss-esque or caliber level bosses, that NPCs that will have these abilities, heroic abilities. So skills, awareness is 14, brawling 14, evade 12, healing 8. Abilities, defensive and veteran. Weapons, we have broadsword, heavy crossbow, and large shield. Broadsword, skill level is 14, damage is 2d6. Heavy crossbow, skill level 12, damage 2d8, and a large shield. All right, so now we can move on to 2B, North Gate. Or not 2B, South Gate. No, I'm just playing. A low gateway is flanked by 2 round towers of stone with pointed wooded roofs. A well-trodden path leads out through the gate and snakes off through the terrain. Look out. There is always a villager standing guard in one of the towers. He or she watches the surrounding area and is always equipped with a large horn. At the first sign of danger, the guard blows the local warning signal, 3 short horn blasts followed by 1 long blare. During emergencies, the number of guards is increased to 4, 2 in each tower. Okay. And then again, random event, 1 through 5, or 1 and 5. So you got either demonic bats or dead messenger. So you got a live bat or a dead bat. Number 3, the village square. So number 3 is going to be right here towards the north of town. You have the inn, the smithy, and the shop all face an open space where a weathered statue rises from the earth. It is a strange relic from a bygone era, which seems to depict a warrior in antiqued armor. The Dragon Emperor. Time has not been kind to the statue. Both arms have fallen off, but one can still make out a helmet with horn-like crown. With a successful Myth and Legends roll, the player characters recognize the statue of the Dragon Emperor Eladin, who is said to have ruled this part of the world many centuries ago. They also notice great similarities between the statue and the 4-piece statuette on Weatherman's map. Random events. All random events can happen. Excuse me. All right. Number 4, the 3 stags. So this is number 4 right here on the map. It's within the village square. An impressive 2-story building with a massive hatched roof and half-timbered walls. Outside the door hangs a red sign and says, "The 3 stags, beer, bed, and food at heavenly prices." Cheery voices spill out onto the street along with the smell of roasted boar. The common room. So there's a couple different areas within the 3 stags. You have the common room, The Three Stags is the village watering hole. Every morning to well after midnight, there are D12 plus 1 villagers and visitors sitting in the common room, eating, drinking, gossiping, and warming their joints by the great fireplace. Delicious meat stews and homemade beer or mead are served at normal end prices, and that's in the core rulebook in the gear section. Vagenheld. As they enter, the player characters are welcomed by Vagenheld. Although she rumbles authoritatively, she is quite cheerful and friendly and gives each of them a tankard of mead on the house. She offers to answer questions about the area and can relay rumors about adventure sites in the Misty Vale. She also tells them the following. Large bats have lately been seen flying over rooftops. Hardy has tried to shoot down several of them, but so far has been unsuccessful. A mystic named Darnath has settled in the temple area. He is an inexhaustible source of knowledge about the past and a skillful healer. There is lodging. Upstairs, there are 10 beds divided between 2 double rooms and a dormitory. The prices are the same as in the core rulebook, so again, check your rulebook. Again, that's going to be in the gear section. Investigations. It is hard to imagine a better place to seek information about the Misty Vale. Clues the player characters may have missed in other places can easily be found here, perhaps in the form of a rumor or a merry song. So this is Vagenheld. Vagenheld is an authoritative but jovial woman in her 40s. She keeps her graying hair in bulky braids and wears a thick leather apron. Vagenheld used to be a mercenary and always carries a warhammer on her belt. Hey, when you're the attendees of your establishment, if they tend to get a little rowdy and drunk, well, that warhammer will come in handy. Movement is 8. Damage bonus is a strength plus D4. Leather armor, 1. HP is 12. So she has skills, evade 8, healing 10, and persuasion at a 14. Weapons, light warhammer, skill level 12, damage 2d6. Now, other occupants of the Three Stags. Lorana, which this is the same Lorana we talked about from the opening scene. The Softmaw cultist Lorana spends most of her time at the Three Stags, where she has taken on the role of a perky, seemingly trustworthy maid named Annabelle. She will not wait long to contact the player characters as described on page 15. Quasmud scum. The guests are in the common room, often include the drunken mallard Quasmud and his band of brutes, as many as the player characters. They drink mead and exchange tall tales while glaring suspiciously at other guests. All of them have sold their souls to Softmog and obey Lorana's every command. And then down below we have Lorana, also Annabelle, or Quasmud. So we'll go ahead and cover those real quick. So Lorana has served Softmog ever since her family was killed by fanatical Eldon knights. She is a haggard woman of intermediate age, but with kind eyes and deep dimples. Lorana has lost everything and will gladly lay down her life if that is what it takes to thwart the servants of Eladin, including the player characters. So she has movement of 14, damage bonus, agility plus D4, no armor, HP 14, willpower 15. The skills she has, brawling 12, evade 14, persuasion 12, and sneaking 16. Abilities, backstabbing, fast footwork, lightning fast, and weasel. Weapons, dagger, skill level 16, damage D8, plus lethal poison of potency 14. Woo! Lorana, you nasty thing. And then we got Quasmid. The Mallard Quasmid is a failed fortune hunter who regularly frequents the Three Stags. He has a bitter and violent side which tends to come out when he drinks too much mead. He has sold his soul to Sothmog for a few pieces of silver and half a keg of mead. Poor guy. So he has movement of 10, damage bonus is strength plus D4, armor, leather, it's 1, HP 14, willpower 12. Skills, 14, brawling is 14, evade 14, sneaking is 12. Weapons, a scimitar, skill level 16, damage 2d6, and a light crossbow, skill level 15, damage 2d6. So, Lorana and Quasmid. All right, so top right of this page, we also have a Filna Shadowleaf. I'm just going to say Shadowleaf because I know how to say that. Also at the end is a knight from the Keepers of the Immaculate Flame, Shadowleaf, a sworn enemy of Sothmog and his cohorts. But like them, she seeks Umdurman. She is quiet and sullen and throws suspicious glances at Quasmid and his thugs. Read page 22. So then there's also bats. Player characters who search the inn and succeed with a spot hidden will find a cage with D3 sleeping bats hanging outside a window on the second floor. If they hide and keep an eye on the window, they will see Lorana fetch one of the bats from within one shift. With a successful sneaking, the player characters can follow her to the temple area where she releases the bat after attaching a small piece of paper to its leg. So now we've got some more interesting stuff. So we've got Quasmid Scum. So Quasmid Scum are the dregs of Outskirt, drunken wrecks of settlers and adventurers who lost everything in their pursuit of riches. Like Quasmid, they have sold their souls to Sothmog and are always willing to give their lives for the supreme darkness. They attack as a group, at least equal in half to the player characters. So they have a movement of 10, damage bonus is none, armor is none, HP 12, skills, they have evade at 10, sneaking at 8, and for weapons, they have short sword, skill level 14, damage D10, and a sling, skill level 12, damage D8. And then, of course, Shadowleaf. And if you look at her eyes, you can see that she is looking right at Quasmid Scum. That's funny. So the knight, Shadowleaf, is sent by the Keepers of the Immaculate Flame. She is looking for the keys to Umdurman, while at the same time trying to prevent the sword from ending up in the hands of Koth. As her base, she has chosen the Three Stags, where she is often seen in the large common room. Read more about Shadowleaf in the next page. So she has a movement of 10, damage bonus is strength plus D4, armor is plate, so she has 6 armor rating, HP 15, willpower 14. Her skills, we have brawling at 14, evade at 12. Abilities is defensive and veteran. And then her weapons, a Morning Star, skill level 16, damage 2d6, and a small shield. So at the bottom it says demonic bats. Through Koth, Lorana has gained command of a swarm of demonically controlled vampiric bats. Some are kept in a cage, but most of them are scattered in the area around Outskirt. The swarm arrives 2 rounds after being telepathically commanded by Lorana. Interesting. And then number 5, which is right here, right across from the Three Stags Inn. So we have Master Olvars. This is an oblong windowless log building. On the roof, there are goats feeding on unkept grass. Above the entrance hangs a wooden sign saying Master Olvar's in curling letters. Master and son. The shop is run by the proud Master Olvar with his assistance from his indolent and disinterested son Jory. The gear. So the shop does not sell weapons, shields, or armor, but most of the common items listed in Chapter 6 of the rulebook can be purchased from Master Olvar. So that's a good thing to know. Let's go ahead and cover Master Olvar and Jory, and then we'll talk about what Shadowleaf knows. So Master Olvar is a tall, red-faced human man in his 50s with an impressive drooping mustache. That's a weird feature they have to mention. He has hands the size of hams and speaks with a booming voice that makes his mustache quiver. What? So, Master Olvar has a movement of 8. His damage bonus is a strength plus d4. Armor is none, HP is 15. The skills he has: brawling 12, sneaking an 8. Weapons: long spear, skill level 12, damage bonus, or damage is 2d8. And then Jory. Jory is Master Olvar's beloved son and designated successor at the shop. Unfortunately, young Jory has little interest in shopkeeping. He would rather be a warrior like Hardy, Jory's greatest role model in life. All. And according to his persistent rumors, Jory's real father. The mother is unknown, and there is talk of a half-orcish woman who left for the mountains some years ago. That could be a fun little thing to play out. Okay. So, movement is 12, damage bonus, strength D4. Armor is leather, so armor rating of 1, HP 14. Skills, we have evade at 12, sneaking at 9. And then weapons: broadsword, skill level 12, damage 2d6. Short bow, skill level 10, damage d10. And then back up to the top of the page, we have what Shadowleaf knows. So Shadowleaf is a grumpy and quiet, but if the player character gain her trust, for example, by showing a statuette piece and succeeding with a persuasion roll, she can tell them the legend of the Dragon Emperor's statuette and provide the following clues. Sothmog has reawakened one of the ancient servants, the demon sorcerer Koth, to find the sword Umdraman. Excuse me. Koth is probably in his crypt beneath Mirror Lake, to the north, of course, of the Misty Vale. He seems to be bound to the unholy place and has many spies and servants within the Misty Vale. On the Midst Shroud Island in the Mirror Lake is the entrance to Koth's unholy resting place. But the island is inaccessible to living creatures, as the Midst is demonic and sucks the life out of anything that comes near. Shadowleaf has made several failed attempts to get past the Midst around the mysterious island. She suspects that it takes powerful anti-demonic magic to break through it, such as the sword Umdraman. She is convinced that Koth has several spies in Outskirt. She has seen demonic bats flying over the rooftops and thinks they are being used for secret communication between the crypt under the Isle of the Mist and someone in Outskirt. How interesting would that be if Shadowleaf finds out that it's actually Lorana, or aka Annabelle? And that's all we're talking about today. We'll get into the rest, 6 through 10, the next episode tomorrow. So, what kind of little plot hooks do you all see so far? Definitely, if your players catch on, like if you, as the GM, purposely dispense some of these rumors, dispense some of these little intricate ideas that these NPCs have, do you think your players will catch on? Do you think that your players will see the little intricate connections and make the, make them connect and whatnot? Do you think they will? I don't know. You tell me. So yeah, definitely like this video. Comment down below. Tell me, what connections do you see could be interesting? Shadowleaf can definitely play an interesting part within this. Maybe Hardy shoots down one of the demonic vampiric bats and the players come across it. Who knows? But yeah, until next time, my fellow nerds, live on and game on.